right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Not Your Day Job. I have another amazing guest today, Sanjay Monroe, DJ and scientist. You also may know her as DJ Sandy J. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I appreciate you stopping through. So I always like to take it back to when I first meet someone. Yeah. So I knew about you online because I followed Demola. I followed DJ Brianna Beats.
Yes.
And let me tell you, Brianna's always going to shout out her girl. So
yes.
It was like, you better go hit up Sanjay and go make this podcast happen. So I was like, eventually, like, we're going to make it happen.
Good.
And then I met you for the first time at the Noir Divinity event.
Yes.
Right? Worst Behavior.
Yes. Yep.
Which, might I add to anybody, should have been there. It was lit.
Yes.
It was a good time.
Very iconic. It was a blast. We're doing another part 2 for sure.
Oh, do y'all already have that set up?
It's in the works. Yeah. It's in the works.
All right. Cool. All right. Cause I gotta come back.
Me
and my girl had a really good time.
Good.
So yeah, and I noticed your skills as a DJ, online, but now in person.
Yes.
At that event. So that's amazing. But I do want to take it back to your humble beginnings. So we had a discussion before. You mentioned you were born in Baltimore.
Yes.
And at birth, you were adopted.
Yes.
So how's that experience, how's that shaped or influenced you from a kid all the way to an adult?
As far as being raised in Baltimore or being adopted?
Both. Being raised in, yeah.
Yes. I'll start with my experience with being born in Baltimore. I personally had a great experience. I feel like I wish I would have stayed a little bit longer before my parents moved out. But I enjoyed the culture, especially music. The music out there is influenced the sound that I project out into the world today, as far as just like where my roots are. But the culture out there was amazing. I love Baltimore, honestly. I know it may be a little bit different now, but I personally enjoyed my experience there. And as far as being adopted, I would say that like I'm more grateful for being adopted and it resulting with where I'm at now, because I don't know where my life would have been had it not have been that situation. My mother, my birth mom, she struggled with drug addiction, or does struggle with drug addiction, and that's why I was given up for adoption. I don't really know where my life would have been, but I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I'm just grateful for the family that I have now, because I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I can just say I'm just grateful. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people can identify with that.
Yeah.
I've definitely had people in my family deal with addiction.
Yeah.
And it shapes you in a certain way of how, I think for me personally, how I saw people, how maybe people just saw people with addiction as people that were kind of throwaway or things of that nature.
Yeah.
And I had more compassion for them, understanding, what could they have gone through. And especially when you're talking about a parent, just understanding that we're all people, they were a person too.
Yeah.
And, made maybe not so much the best decisions, but also try to make the best decisions that they could with what they knew at the time.
Exactly.
So, with that in mind, when you talk about dealing with a mother who had addiction, did that heavily influence you as a person today?
It did. My mom, who adopted me, she really instilled in me to like not do drugs, don't drink. So she always reminded me to be very careful about things that I indulge in, because that could be me. And I do believe that addiction is pretty much genetic as well. So she always instilled to me about like not drinking, be careful where you put your cup, at, do not, smoke. She did not play those games. So she really instilled those things. And with knowing that my mom struggled with addiction, I make sure that anything that I do, Not even with drinking or anything, just in general, because you can have an addiction with anything. I make sure that I pace myself with anything that I do and not overindulge. So it definitely did have an effect on me to make sure that I'm more self-aware about things that I'm indulging in, for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I don't think that runs in my side of the family as much, but I definitely was raised in that same way because I was just, of course, I was young. I tried some things in college. It was like, oh, yeah, let me see what smoking weed is like, and things of that nature. But something inside of me just was like, where does this lead to? And again, I'm not talking bad about anybody else who enjoys marijuana and feels like it relaxes them or a medical way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No judgment.
Yeah. No judgment.
But I think, it's different strokes for different folks, you know, and we all choose the best path for us.
Yeah. It just wasn't for you.
Yeah. Not for me. Not for me. But yeah, during this time, you're in Baltimore. You talk about all these influences that you've had from there in the culture. At some point in time, you made the move down to North Carolina.
Yes.
Could you talk about the reasons why you and the family decided to move to North Carolina?
My father, he got transferred from his job from to Baltimore to North Carolina. So when we moved here, we moved to Clayton. So to go from Baltimore, where it was just so Black, so cultural, and then to move to Clayton, which no shade to Clayton, but at that time there was not a lot of development, very country, very different from what I've experienced. Thus far as a child, it was completely different. So yeah, he moved us to Clayton because of his job, but he also wanted to provide a better environment for his children. Just a more safer environment for us. Yeah. And plus, we have family in North Carolina as well. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people will move from, especially northern areas where it's just a different type of culture.
Yeah.
And you come to the South because it's kind of affordable or maybe more safe in different ways. But people will say, man, it's boring.
Oh my gosh, it was so boring.
And I love my state. Look, I'm a North Carolina boy. I love my state, but I was even growing up saying I really wanted to experience another place. Yeah. So, when I went out to college and went down to Florida, and I was like...
What part of Florida?
Orlando.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So I stayed in Orlando. I went to school, ended up staying totally for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And as a young man who small town vibes, and things of that nature, it was a different life-changing experience to meet people from all over the world. And, it was like, wow, like this is what it's like outside of North Carolina and the small backcountry roads. So
right, exactly.
I totally understand.
Yeah, completely 360. I'm just like, why did y'all move us out here? I'm just like, there is nothing to do.
Yeah, I know. But,
like in Baltimore, at least I could walk to certain places and, things were much more convenient. But I remember everything just being so far.
Everything, that's probably the number one thing I hear from people too is many places do not have the public transportation.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So if you're in New York and you get moved down here, you're just like, okay, what do I have to actually get a car? I have to.
Yes, you have to get a car.
It's just not an option. Yeah, so I get that.
Exactly.
But your father ends up getting transferred down here.
Yes.
And you mentioned to me that he was a part of the inspiration for you getting into DJing.
Yes.
And so, how was that inspiration? Was it that he DJ'd himself or was it more just musical influence?
Both. I remember seeing his CD collection and it was just a lot of like neo soul CDs, a lot of R&B, old school music. So I was inspired by the music that he collected while also looking at him DJ in real time in the garage next to him and like just seeing him blend certain songs. I thought that was just so cool and I was just so curious as a kid watching that. So I would say both of them definitely had a heavy impact on why I DJ today.
Okay.
Yeah, and his DJ name is DJ Mr. Biggs.
Okay. Wait a minute. Does he still DJ?
No, he doesn't. But I think I want to get him back into it. I told
Okay.
him I'm going to show him because he hasn't DJed in a couple years, so it's like a whole new world now. So I want to show him what it's like DJing now.
That's amazing. That'd be a full circle
It
moment. So it's like
would.
dad teaches daughter, but daughter comes back to
Right.
teach dad.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And his controller was the controller where he had like the nano iPod. So yeah, he would download songs from iTunes and then it would be on the nano iPod. And then I guess you could like mix on, two decks from the nano iPod. So that's where what I remember seeing as far as seeing an actual DJ controller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, my only question out of that is like, does he still have the nano iPod
And that's
somewhere?
what I'm trying to figure out because I want some of that music.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, today where, again, I have this conversation with many guests who are like musicians, they are like, we want to get off of streaming as much now.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
You know, it's the nostalgia of having that, like the music in your pocket. If you can find that, that'd be awesome.
I would love that. I was just thinking recently, like, wow, I miss having an MP3 player. I would get an MP3 player today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like,
I'm still thinking about getting one. Like, I really want a good one.
right, exactly. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to ask him about that nano iPod for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. So now you start getting into DJing, right? Do you remember your first ever DJ set, like in front of people, and like how nervous were you?
Yes. So actually, Decipher, you know Decipher, right?
No.
No, okay. So she's a part of New York Divinity. She gave me my first opportunity to actually DJ in real time as a first gig. This was last year for their Control Pride party. So she actually gave me my first gig, and I opened. There wasn't anybody there, honestly. So it did ease the nervousness, but the next day I had a gig at Surf Club in Durham where there was more people, and yeah, I was very nervous. Yeah, I was very nervous. I stayed up all night practicing and getting my set together. But at the end of the day, I had fun. Like, I tried to make sure I had fun, but yeah, I was definitely nervous for sure.
Do you think being nervous, and this is just, I guess, my belief, when I'm nervous and stepping into something new, do you believe that nervousness sometimes helps prepare you for that in like a positive way? I know a lot of people will think about it in like a negative, like, oh my God, I'm going to bomb. But I always think about it, people who end up being like super, super confident going into something new and they say, okay, I got it, and they don't practice,
Right.
they don't do that extra preparation, then they bomb, right? Versus I feel like a lot of people have this like healthy nervousness and you practice and you want to make sure your things are correct. I think you have a greater time. I feel like
Yeah.
you surprise yourself with your ability and say, wow, that went better than what I thought.
Yeah. For me personally, I am always nervous. I have anxiety. So like there's never like a positive nervous for me. But what I will say when it comes to DJing and I am nervous, moving around, dancing, engaging with the crowd definitely helps ease that nervousness and be present. So, and then also I try to trick my mind and say, I'm not nervous, I'm just anticipating for this moment. So I do try to have a more positive aspect like that, but I'm a nervous girl all the time. Like even with this, like even with coming over here, I was a little nervous because this is my first time, but yeah, I definitely, I'll always have a little bit of nervousness, but I try to like move that around when I'm DJing and then I start to feel better. So yeah, but like after I'm done with it, I do get that same reaction, like, that was not bad. Why was I so nervous? Like, actually have fun. So yeah.
Yeah, I can see definitely if you do have anxiety, how that adds a little extra layer on top of that.
Right,
But
yeah.
I think the people you are around, like you said, interacting with the crowd, but also the ladies of Nora Divinity
Yes.
help you be more confident in
Absolutely.
yourself. So,
They are like my safety blanket. Like
yeah.
when I'm DJing and I see them there, I'm just like, everything's going to be okay. They support me. They're there for me. If a mistake happens, they're always there to reassure me. So they're like my safety blanket for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Do you have any favorite genres that you're known for your DJ set?
Yes, I'm the queen of house.
Okay, so wait a minute. So
I love to play house
hold
music.
on, let me notate this. So Brianna Beats,
Yeah.
R&B. Demola is gonna get your, Afro beats.
Yeah.
I'm a piano, and then so now we got Sanjay DJ. Sandy J is for house.
Yes.
That's amazing. Did you all kind of plan it that way, or did it just naturally, like how? Because it feels like now you have it spread out really evenly.
Exactly, between genres, which I think is so cool because everyone can get a little dose of everything. But for me, it was just natural. Like my upbringing, like listening to Baltimore club music, that's kind of pretty much adjacent to also house music. So that my music background from Baltimore has that impact of my house sound. So when we took the DJ class together that Collective Chaos had held in 2024, 2 years ago, we already came with our own genre of music that we personally like to play. So I was always known as the house girl because I was pretty much the only one, playing house in that class from what I remember. And so, before we came together as New York Divinity, we already had our own sound and we just kind of collided everything together. I love the diversity that we all have. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I want to talk about how we discussed growing up, and we were talking about influences from watching cartoons.
Yes.
Listening to music growing up, and so how does pop culture, I guess, influence your creative identity?
I would say pop culture influences my identity. You mind expanding on what do you mean by pop culture?
So the cartoons of the time, right?
Okay.
So some people may have been influenced, let's say, by SpongeBob or Rocket Lab or Cartoon Network and all the different various, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Adult Swim, and then now it's kind of like the music of that time also intersects with that, right?
Right.
And so we're watching like MTV, BET,
Oh my gosh,
106 in Park, things of that nature. So like taking those things into account, what you grew up with, how does that influence you in a creative manner today?
Yeah, so Cartoon Network. There was this show with Andre 3000. I forgot the name of it, but they used to have a video game online where you can like make your own beats and make your own music, because that's what the show was about, like making music and it being a band. So I remember going on Cartoon Network games and playing that particular game and actually making music. And so I was just always so, I always gravitated to like music and how music was made and the components of making music. So that definitely influenced like hearing separate sounds of instruments. So that was kind of like, that definitely heavily influenced me for sure. And then like growing up, watching MTV, like getting ready for school, 6 a.m. and I'm turning on MTV music videos. 106 in Park, oh my gosh. Like 106 in Park was everything for me growing up. That was something I always look forward to after school. But having those things on cable TV, even with cable TV, they had music channels. Like I remember particularly channel 142, I think had like hip hop music. Every channel had a certain genre of music that I could flip between. And that also expanded my musical knowledge. Another one, Guitar Hero and Rock Band, another video game where that also expanded my taste and knowledge of rock music. So I grew up with different types of sources, creative sources of music where, and even DJ Hero.
Yes.
Yeah, I had DJ Hero.
Yeah.
So like video games, music shows, cartoons. Yes, that definitely had an impact on my aspect today with DJing, and my creative sound, I would say, and kind of just the way that I think about how people receive music from me as well. I feel like having that background just definitely helped me be more creative for sure.
Yeah, I look at growing up for me playing video games and also watching cartoons, and I had mentioned watching Adult Swim at night when I probably should have been asleep getting ready for
Right?
school in the morning.
I know, but it was so good.
But you know,
Which one? Which one was it?
so you know, I watched everything, right? And that kind of opened the door for anime for me. So like your Dragon Ball Z, your Inuyasha, it was
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop, so on and so forth. But it was really these. So when it came back from commercial break, they had these little things that was called Adult Swim bumps, or it was like like Adult Swim only, and it was like these pictures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it would play beats in the background.
Okay.
And so my thing was like, who's making these beats, right?
Yeah.
And it really opened the door for me to think about like beat making, and that's
Yes.
why I ended up getting a cracked version of Fruity Loops in high school. I ended up
Really?
getting like Pro Tools later. People would come to my house to record music, and again, I was a wee bit decent at making
Right.
beats.
I was like, I didn't know that you was producing music.
Yo, a long time ago. And still I think today I would, looking at how technology has come along, now we have like a little travel thing like the MPC sample,
Yes.
or even the Teenage Engineering KO2. I would love to like get one of those and just like make beats, not because I want to be like a producer or anything, but it's just for me.
It's very stimulating making beats. It really just, it's so stimulating, and I don't know, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It really, like, what am I trying to say? It really pushes you to be like your most creative self. It's such a creative thing to do, to make your own music and make your own sound that's different from, you know, what you may hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to like do a little small like productions on GarageBand, like on my phone, and oh my gosh, it was so fun.
Yeah. I think that's why I love all the new instruments today, because it was like the most creative I've seen from people who are young, who said, oh, here's an affordable way I could get in and get this new, you know, MPC.
Yeah.
But also seeing Grammy award winning, you know, beat producers, like, you know, music producers, and they're just grabbing them and getting them at the Guitar Center. And I'm like, it was really cool to see like that kid-like nature in people and want to be creative. So that was really good.
Good.
But you know, I had asked you about mentorship and who inspires you, and you were like, hey, you know, this may sound off to people, but you know, like you were your own biggest inspiration.
Yeah.
And how does that translate into, I guess, how you craft your DJ sets from that standpoint of you are the inspiration, you love to be creative and get into your own flow and kind of figure out what works for you on your own. So how does that translate into the music that you're mixing?
Yes, I would say when I'm crate digging or sourcing out for music, I pick out music that feels good for me. I pick out music that stimulates me, and I hope that translates to the audience that I play to, in which it does. So, you know, I just listen to my body. I listen to what feels good for me, and I just, you know, go from there. But yeah, I don't mean to sound like, you know, arrogant, but yes, I do feel like I am my own inspiration, because I don't look for validation. I don't look for comparison. You know, I create my own lane, and I stick to what feels good and feels right and what makes me happy. And so that really, I feel like doing it for me it doesn't limit me, because I'm doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for anyone else. So I feel like that really pushes me to be like my most creative, because I do care what people think, but at the end of the day, like, I care about what makes me happy, and I make sure to maintain that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's most important because at the end of the day, when you lay your head down on that pillow, it's you.
Right.
Right.
And I like to say, no one's coming in that coffin alone. I mean, with me, it's going to just be me in that coffin.
That is the truth.
Yeah.
That is the truth. A lot of people put a lot of their life into comparing themselves to others. And at the end of the day, they can let life, I guess, kind of breeze by because they're living life. The person you're trying to compare to, and they're not worried about you.
Right.
And you're now going to go and be, 10 years down the road and say, wait a minute, I could have been doing this. I missed out on that. And it's like, yeah, you got to chase life for yourself.
Exactly. And that's what makes me feel the most authentic. Is doing things that feels genuine to me, that feels authentic. I can't fake being anything else. So that's why I really it really builds my own identity. And I feel like that's so important with like DJing, is to have your own identity so that therefore people can know exactly like who you are and what they can, like when they come to your parties or your events, they know what they can get because you've built your own identity. And that's been so very important to me, is to have my own identity, to be very authentic to that, and not to have any external validation or opinions, but all through my spirit.
Yeah.
Like I channel that within my spirit.
Yeah, they know exactly who they're going to get.
Yeah.
They're going to get Sanjay and that's it.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And I feel like that's more needed because I think a lot of people are trying to be something instead of just being.
Right, exactly, just be.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Just be authentic. I don't know.
It's really simple.
We
can say it multiple different ways, but it's that.
I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say.
No.
It's easier said than done, though.
Absolutely, perfectly said. And people may not know, and I did an intro with this, but you are also a scientist currently working on getting your master's degree, correct?
Yes, my master's in genetics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, congratulations, because we know you're already going to graduate and get that. We already know that.
I'm graduating this year.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, man. So wait a minute. Do we change the DJ name? Is this going to be Dr. DJ Sanjay? Like Sandy J? Like what? We ain't going to do that. We ain't going to put the DR on the PhD at the end of the DJ. Anyway, look, if I was you, I tell my girl all the time. I say, you're so used to being a doctorate. I said, if I was a doctorate, I'd be insufferable.
Why?
Because I'm like, when we pull up to the restaurant, they say, all right, table for two. Oh, what name? Doctor.
Because you earned that.
Doctor. Put that down. Put that D. Yep.
I know, that's right.
You
said I'm getting every penny out of this.
That's what I'm saying. So, but I know you're going for your master's, not your doctorate, but I think it is an amazing thing to do.
Thank you.
And I think people may be surprised by that. So are people surprised when you let them know, like they know you for being a DJ, but then you're like, oh, I'm also a scientist of genetics. Are they like, huh?
Yeah. They're very surprised and very curious. Like, what type of scientist are you? And like, they're just very excited and curious. And, that always also surprises me because in my head, I just think that I'm just a regular person. I just go about my day about certain things. But yeah, when I do express that I'm a scientist, everyone is like so shocked. And, I always like to inform people like what I do and like my background. And and I always I think why it's surprising is like, being a Black woman as a scientist, it is rare and I understand that. And so, yeah.
I see the doctorate coming. So the reason why I mentioned doctorate, because I feel like when a woman, especially when Black women go into education, y'all don't stop until y'all get to the top.
I know.
So I feel like it's coming. So if anybody's like, why did he say that when he just said master's degree? Because I'm just speaking it into existence. I'm like, the doctor.
That is so true.
I feel like the doctorate is coming.
I think about that a lot. As far as I even thought about it today about a conversation that I had with one of my old managers. He graduated with his PhD in science as well, and I was getting some advice from him to see if I should go the master or PhD route. So I was thinking about that today, like, wow, what if I was in a PhD program right now? I could have mastered out if I wanted to, but yeah, it was just one of those things. I do feel like deep down inside, I may go for my doctors, but I've been in education after graduating with my bachelor's for like 6 years now. Not because of my master's, but I've earned like my certification through the ASCP. So I have my certification as a molecular biology technologist. So I'm board certified. I know that was a tongue twister.
Give it up, folks. Give it up.
I'm not trying to brag, but
you're supposed to brag.
Yeah. See, this is what I tell you. Where I feel like I'm just a normal. I feel like I'm just a normal person. Like,
see, my girl acts the same way, and I said, and I tell her all the time. And I know it's a tough time, and she's been trying to find a new position.
Yeah.
And with defunding of a lot of the things in STEM going on, it's difficult. But I try to remind her that you have been surrounded by many friends, and many of her friends have doctorates and master's degrees. And I asked them when they were all together, I'm like, how do y'all feel about that? And they said, we just feel like normal people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not normal.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you walk around arrogant, right? That's, but it's that still that mindset that you worked hard for this.
Yes.
You did something that a
yes.
very small percentage of people do, right? So you getting your master's in genetics is amazing. So I want you to walk in that light. I want you to tell all of us about your certifications and everything, because I mean,
I busted my butt. I really did. So yeah, when I go down the list and tell people my accolades, they are so stunned, and that also does warm my heart, because I'm just like, thank you, I really appreciate that, because I want to be a great representation, not only for my community but for myself as well, and especially the children.
We have this side of you that is the scientist, and we have the DJ. Are there any key similarities and differences between Sanjay the scientist and Sanjay the DJ?
Yes. So I'm laughing because so when I'm DJ, like, people think DJing is fun, and it is, but there's so much that goes to it. So I have to choose the next song. Not only do I have to choose the next song, but I have to choose the right song that is in alignment with what is going on with the crowd. I gotta pay attention to the crowd. I gotta hear requests from other people. I gotta transition. I gotta turn my EQ. So there's a lot of moving parts, all in the same second. And with science, kind of the same thing that happens when I'm studying. I have to have so much brain capacity to visualize what a reaction may be doing at its smallest molecule. So I would feel like both careers take a lot of brain capacity out of me, because I have to think really hard and do a lot. Yeah. So with science, I have to really use my imagination to think of certain reactions that may happen that I cannot see with the naked eye, but with my general knowledge. And then with DJing, I have to use a lot of capacity with, transitioning, picking out a different song. So it's a lot of multitasking within the brain, I feel are the similarities. And the difference is just one with music and the one is with, clinical cases. So, but both uses a lot of brain capacity for sure.
Okay. Because I was wondering with, being a scientist, I feel like there's a lot of attention to detail, I assume.
Yes.
And just wondering if that is that the same with something creative like DJing, or is it DJing more creative and not as precise? It's more of a feeling and an emotion. Right.
Yes. With science, definitely have to be precise, accurate, and very much know exactly what you're doing. Not outside, you have to know exactly what you're doing, of course, with the procedure that you're doing, but also the knowledge that you have to back up the reaction or the science test that you're doing. And then with DJing, yes, it is more of a feeling, But it also comes with knowledge, with reading the crowd, knowing, having the knowledge of my library. This one is a little bit more creative, but I don't have to be as precise or accurate or as serious with it. I can really just go based off of like how I feel, and how the crowd feels as well. Yeah.
You are achieving something that, again, a small percentage of people do, getting your master's degree, and especially in genetics.
Right.
Do you have something that you want to achieve at a high level with DJing? Is there a venue you would love to perform, or someone you would love to open for? Like, what is a high achievement for you being a DJ?
Yes, a high achievement for me would be to open for K Tronada. Um, I love K Tronada. He has also had a big K Tronada and Disclosure had a really big impact on my house music taste. So I would love to open for those two artists. I actually reached out to K Tronada's team
Okay.
because I just think big like that. I'm just like, I just
Shit.
go for it. I'm just like, why not? So yeah, I would love to open for K Tronada, and I would love to perform at festivals. And I would like to also do like recorded YouTube sets with, really big channels and social media pages, stuff like that. So yeah, I would love to accomplish those things, but I have no limit for myself. Want to take it over for sure. Even with international travel, I want to travel more with it, all of that.
I love that. And mentioning travel, right?
Yes,
And I
yeah.
know you love to travel.
Yes.
Have you traveled and also DJ'd in another country?
Yes, I have.
Okay. What country was that?
Yeah, so this year in January, I got the opportunity to DJ in Stockholm, Sweden.
That's amazing.
That was like what? The price went up. Like the price went up.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, I got the opportunity to DJ in Sweden. It was an amazing time. I got great reactions. Even like the person that I reached out to who I was able to DJ alongside, he even like asked if I could come back during the summer. So I had an amazing time. Not only DJing there, but to also listen to the music that they like. Cause I went out the night before I DJ'd. Not to also enjoy myself, but to also, be curious about what they listen to. And quite frankly, they listen to, pretty similar things, very heavy on Amapiano, Afrobeats, Guam, and R&B. So when I had the opportunity to DJ, I already had that similar sound. And so everyone was very receptive to it. And I DJed for like about an hour, and it was at a local bar. So yeah.
Great. And I know you're picking up so many, I guess, like influences of other people's cultures.
Yes.
So do you have any other places on your list you would love to travel to and DJ?
Ooh. Europe, like Amsterdam, Germany. I would like to DJ in Europe just because like the sounds and like when I crate dig, especially on SoundCloud, I see a lot of producers in that area and they produce great music. So I would not mind, I would love to DJ in Europe, especially like Amsterdam. I would also like to travel to South Africa as well. I don't even need to DJ, but I just want to immerse myself in the culture of Amapiano. Like I would love to know what that music scene is like in real time. So I would love to DJ in South Africa. I'm not DJ in South Africa, just visit Africa and immerse myself in the music. Because I love to also play Amapiano as well, and I respect that genre so much. But yeah, I would definitely say Europe for sure, just because of house music. And yeah.
You mentioned K Tronada, which is one of my personal favorites as well. And a long time ago, I always thought that a DJ, a producer could make a producer-centric album.
Yes.
And it kind of seemed like that wasn't the thing, or like that's not possible. You have to be an artist. But we've seen people like Kaytranada be very successful at that and
Yes.
bringing voices in the industry that flow so well over the music he creates. So would you also want to create an album similar to Kaytranada?
I would love to create an album similar. I would love to really professionally learn how to produce. I have ideas in mind that I would like to execute. It's just a software. I just would love to kind of learn more about the software. But yes, I would love to take that similar route where producing music that feels authentic to me. And that's why I love Kaytranada so much, because his music is so authentic, it's genuine, it's different. I've never heard a producer like that. Maybe Pharrell, I would say, but like really take electronic music and house music and make it relatable. You know, having amazing different artists on that. So I would love to produce something similar to that where, you know, I take certain genres and make it relatable and digestible for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be beautiful.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to tell you, like I tell everyone who makes EPs and albums,
Yes.
if you make a vinyl or a CD, just let me know. I'm copping it.
Hey.
Okay? Because I'm copping it and I need a signature.
Okay, period.
All right?
We got
I need
you.
that. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? I need my collection because all of y'all going to blow up.
Right. You
And I
collect
want to be
vinyls?
one of these first people to be like, you know,
right.
I got it.
I got the autograph.
I got it.
We
A long
got
time
you.
ago. Before,
What? You coming on the road with us? Come on, bring you and
you
your
know what?
girlfriend. Yes.
Hey, I will. I'll drop it.
Right.
I'll tell. Look, I'm sorry. Hey, to my company, I love y'all. But
Right.
if Sanjay's on the road, I gotta go.
Yeah, because you could probably even like interview other artists.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
see,
I
like you
would
said, I'm
love the
thinking big for
opportunity.
you. Like I'm thinking big.
See,
like, come on.
I love that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Absolutely.
You know, and talking about that, I want to talk about community.
Yes.
And you also talked about volunteering at summer camps, right?
Yes.
So how important is it to give back to others?
It is so important. Especially to children. Like, so most of my volunteer work have been surrounded by children in STEM, especially young girls in STEM, where I've got to talk to them about what it's like being a scientist. But most importantly, what it's like to be a woman in scientist, to be a Black woman in scientist, but also a scientist that can have other hobbies. So I think it's so important to know, to let them know that those options are possible for you, that, you know, it's possible for you, you know, you can do that. It does not have to be something that feels far-fetched, and it doesn't have to be something that, you know, you have to box yourself with one thing in life. So it's very important for me to volunteer with them so that they can know that, you know, it's possible for them to do whatever they want to do, because yeah, they deserve whatever they want in life, and that they can go for it. And so, yeah, I volunteered at Duke University for Girl Scouts. I've done a summer camp in Greensboro, and I showed the kids like an science experiment, and I also showed them how to DJ as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, with the Duke University one, I also showed them a science experiment as well. In Chapel Hill, I was a guest speaker on a panel for the young girls of STEM. So I really just love to spread knowledge about like how I've gotten to this point in my industry, because it's not hard. And I feel like everybody deserves to know, you know, certain, what am I trying to say? For example, if I was young, I wish I would have had someone to show me the ropes. And I think that's so important for me to do, is show young girls the ropes, even like my community, the ropes of how I got into certain points, because share the cheat codes. Why not? We all eat. Like, everybody deserves to, you know, get to that point in life without having to struggle, you know? So yeah. It's important for me to spread that knowledge to them.
Yeah.
So it can be more easier.
I love that. And that's something, one of my best friends, people will know her as Dom the designer. But Dom Prescott from Charlotte, one of the best designers out there, in my opinion. And she will host these classes teaching young kids how to design,
Nice.
marketing, things of that nature. And I love that. you know, and also the ability to see someone that looks like you when people have
Right.
always looked,
Yeah.
you know, just a certain person comes in and you're just like, oh, but are there any like black women who do this?
Exactly.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. Representation matters.
Exactly. Exactly. It really does. I remember when I was at UNC Chapel Hill, guest speaker on the panel, was the only black girl there at the program, and she asked me, "Hey, what is it like being a black woman, you know, in the industry?" And so I thought it was important for me to share with her the type of challenges that she may come across, so she can better prepare herself for those type of interactions. So it's so important for children to have that representation.
Yeah. In talking about representing, I mentioned before you are a part of a woman-led DJ collective,
Yes.
Noir Divinity.
Yeah.
And so, how did you, I guess, become a part of that group? And what does Noir Divinity represent to you?
Oh, how I became a part of that group was through the DJ class that Collective Chaos had held in 2024. I remember seeing each of the ladies like in the class. I never really interacted with them, one, because I always came in late, but I didn't even have equipment at that time either. But I just remember seeing them, and I remember like knowing that they were very talented. And it wasn't until like last year where we started to kind of like be more in mutual circles. Like I would see them at certain parties. We would start ending up being on the same lineup. Like I said, Dez gave me my first opportunity. It was one of those things with the class, you could tell who was serious about it. And all of us were serious about it.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, like you could
Yeah.
take the class. If that's something what you want to do, cool. If you want to be an at-home DJ, that's fine. But the ones who really wanted it bad, we grinded. And so with that, more, you know, our names started getting around more. We started to be in similar circles, similar lineups. And then, of course, we're girls, so we're going to support each other. So once we started to be around each other more, we were like, wow, like you're so talented. Like, I love what you play. We just really started to recognize each other's worth and talent, that we wanted to kind of like support each other with that, you know, and put each other on to certain things. So I was just talking to Mo the other day. I really don't know how like we all decided to be like, oh, let's do New York Divinity. It just happened. I don't have a particular date where we all just decided to be a group. It really just naturally happened. And I just looked up and now we are tight like this. Yeah. So it started with the class. We grinded, found our way to each other. And what New York Divinity means is New York is black and divinity is divine. So I had came up with the name. And so being black women, but I feel like it was divine timing how we met each other and how connected we are. So that's where divinity comes from. And so what New York Divinity means to me is sisterhood, support, safety blanket, talent, fashionable, beautiful, knowledgeable. There's so much layers to us, good layers to us outside of DJing. And I feel like we are a true definition of a sisterhood. And we are oh so talented. I mean, brilliant. I speak very highly of them.
Yeah. And you all speak very highly of one another.
Yay!
You know, I had Brianna on here first. She shouted out the group. She shouted every single person in the group and was like, every single person is talented. You better have them on your podcast.
Please do.
And you know, I'm definitely grateful. And I see it, you know, going out to like the worst behavior event that you all had. What I also noticed is that self-reliance that you taught about just in yourself, I think also I feel that from the group. And you all create spaces for your events for people to be safe, to feel they can be themselves. And that's also something that I noticed. So
absolutely.
I think that's a beautiful thing, you know. How does it feel to be able to create that space for other people to be themselves and have a good time?
It feels powerful. It feels powerful to be in a position to be like, you know what, I want to curate my own event. I want to curate an event where I want people to feel included. So it feels very powerful. It feels great to see people in their element, to see people enjoy themselves, to see people, love one another. And I think that's a reflection of how we are as individuals and how we are as a group. So it's so refreshing and it's very powerful to be in the position where we can create that space for people. And, we plan to continue to do more of that. And we're just so grateful. We're so grateful that people are coming out to support us and having a good time and saying positive things about it. So community is very important to us and we want to maintain that safe space for them.
I love that.
Yes.
Now, I have a question that I always ask my guests at the end. And it's like, if you look at yourself 10 plus years from now, what impact do you want to have on the world?
What impact I would want to have on the world? Currently, I would say it's so simple, but live your life for you. Do what you want to do in your life. Like, if you want to go solo travel, do it. If you're a doctor and you feel like your family won't approve of something completely different from that, still do it. Live for you and make the best out of it. You know, the world is your oyster. I feel like everyone is deserving of the things that they want. And I feel like everybody should be happy with the things that they want to do. So yeah, live for you and be happy to live for you. Go after the things that you want to do and trust in that process. You know, I am a full-time student right now and I'm just DJing, but I really banked on myself and living for me and doing things for my happiness, and it's working out. So just trust the process. Bank on yourself. Know that you are deserving of everything that you want. Even if it sounds crazy, it may not happen right now, but it will happen if that's something that you want to do. But yeah, like I said, it's only going to be you in that coffin, so you better live it up. Like, yeah, make the best out of it that you can. Yeah, it's already enough craziness going on in the world. You might as well enjoy, the life that you would like to have in some capacity. Do things to make you happy.
I love that. I think that's the perfect message to end off on.
Yay.
I think anybody can identify with that and just say, hey, when I wake up, this is me. I'm going to live life for me.
Yes.
And that's where I'm going to be my happiest.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Well, thank you for coming through.
Thank you, Joe.
I appreciate it. Also, wait a minute. One more thing. Is there any events that you want to shout out? I know this may come out maybe like a week and a half after that, but is there anything like major for the year? Anything that you would like to put out? Anything new that you're doing?
Yes, I actually got good news. I am doing a grand store opening in Charlotte for Garage Clothing, which is like a huge clothing brand. It's better than Forever 21. It's like damn near like kind of like Hollister. So I've been really appreciative of having more corporate and festival gigs. I just did a festival like 3 weeks ago. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. That's happening literally this Saturday. I have so many events. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And she said this Saturday. So this is May the 16th. This won't be out at this time.
Right. Sorry, y'all.
But yeah.
Follow me on IG and you guys can keep up with my DJ schedule. I have so many dates coming up that you guys can come check me out. And I would love to have you.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Well, again, thank you for stopping
through. Thank you, Joe. I had an amazing time. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Alrighty.
That's it. Till next time.